Meeting will come to order. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. First on the agenda, we have a notice of intent for 131 Staples Shore Road, the name of Wills.
And you have to
That would
read
be
the
you.
legal notice,
Yes, I will.
which we do have
What a coincidence.
somewhere. I saw you put it in the pile.
I know I have it.
There it is.
Put it where I could find it. Okay, pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Wetlands Protection Act, Lakeville Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, August 13th at 7 p.m. in the Senior Center at One Deer Crossing on a notice of intent, period. The applicants, Clarence and Janet Lee Wills, are proposing to upgrade an existing failed septic system and install a well within 100 feet to Assawamsett Pond. Project is located at 131 Staples Shore Road and is further identified as Block 3, Lot 12 on Assessor's Map 64. So,
I'll take those. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Elise Tripp from Outback Engineering, and I'm here on behalf of the applicant. So we have a proposal mainly for a septic upgrade. So it's at 131 Staples Shore Road with the house bordering Assawamsett Pond, and across the street being the location of where we are going to put the leaching field for the septic. There is a tributary to Assawamsett Pond behind that second portion of the lot there. So there's really three aspects to this NOI. The first one being the replacement of a failed septic system. So the septic is on the house lot, and the leaching field is across the street, and we're proposing to raise the leaching field, given the past years of flooding that have occurred, especially for this whole street. Second portion that was not explicitly written out in the NOI, but it is on the plan, is the raising of an existing building on the lot. So that building is just going to be loamed and seeded after. And then the third portion is the proposal of putting in a well at the rear of the lot. And it is a bit closer to Assawamsett Pond, the tributary. However, given the location of the septic, that's really the best place we could put it, given like that 50-foot setback. There is an existing well on the lot with the home currently. However, that well is very shallow. It's pretty much just pond water at this point. So we are proposing to have a silt fence at the rear of the lot against the tributary to Assawamsett Pond. And we didn't note it here, but we can definitely add in another silt fence or other measure of erosion control facing Assawamsett Pond over here. And I would also like to note that unless you guys have heard, I have not received a DEP file number yet, which, we only handed it in 2 weeks ago or so that's expected. And I have not heard back from Natural Heritage yet, which is also to be expected. And that's basically the gist of it. Almost all work, with the exception of a small portion of the leaching field, is within 100 feet to the pond and the tributary. However, there is not really any other feasible locations given the small sizes of the lots. And that pretty much sums it up. I would love to hear any questions or comments.
just a clarification. There was a previous NOI, and some work was done.
I believe so, yeah. But I'm not, I think they'd done it and they had intended to start, but I believe that they never really got a chance to do the extent of the work they wanted to before it ended up expiring.
Okay, so this is all newly proposed.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, one moment, please. Questions?
Question.
Yes?
Did we hear anything from Natural Heritage?
No.
Not yet.
No number, no. They've been slow lately.
They've been real swamped, so I'm not super surprised. And both of them have only had it for roughly like 2 weeks, and that's 21 to 30 days or so that they're given, so.
So if we close the hearing tonight, we'll make that a condition that it's based on.
Receiving the approval or the
And
approval
the
from
file
Natural.
number.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the file number, yeah.
All right, someone else?
The existing building that's gonna be removed, that's
Yes.
on top of part of the new septic system?
Yeah, yep,
Leaching
yeah, where
field.
they're gonna put the leaching field, it's pretty much right on top of it there, yep.
Not a whole lot of room to work.
No.
But if you want to give a question while we're
Yeah,
pondering.
I'm Clarence Wills, the owner of the property,
Oh, okay.
and this was all approved probably 3 or 4 years ago. The well is in, the building's been raised. We ran out of time to get the septic in. It started raining last fall.
Yeah.
And we had
Never stops.
postponed it, so we tried to get it in this year. Found out that everything expired, so there's a refiling of everything we did here.
Yeah, we looked every which way to try and get an extension on it, and there's just no way to do it within the existing regulations. So this was the only way to go, sorry.
Thank you for the clarification.
Will the existing well be filled?
We would take the water off the lake.
Okay.
No one lives there. I've owned the house for a little over 20 years, and we just go up there and go out swimming and fishing and use the place. It's strictly a summer residence. It's all 2x4 studding inside.
Entertain a motion?
You good? Everybody else good? Yes, it will.
I have a motion to close the hearing and issue an order of conditions for the septic upgrade, approval of the raising of the existing building, which has been raised, installation of a new well completed with all the Conservation Commission standard conditions, and in addition, a silt fence be placed along the Assawamsett Pond wetland border, all pending Natural Heritage's approval for the project.
In a DEP file.
The file number.
So moved.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Good. Question?
Do I have to wait the 20 days?
If you start the work now, you do that at your own risk. You probably take us a few days to get the paperwork together, and then depending on how it goes through the mail, if it gets lost.
I know.
But you'll have it within, a few days.
That'll be fine.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Yes, I do, thanks for that. You didn't remind us about the Middleborough, about the address.
Oh, yeah. Does it matter?
No,
Do we know, speaking of Meadowborough, has the weed removal thing started?
haven't heard anything. She's the one to ask. If anyone would know, she would.
Because we
Start
should have been notified on this, right?
Yes.
'Cause I haven't heard anything, seen anything, nobody seems to know anything. Because this was about the time they were gonna be starting, right?
Well, it was somewhere in, it's only a 2 or 3 day window.
Right.
It's in August. So it would be the right weather for it.
I don't know that weather was a real factor in that. I mean, they can do that while it's raining or,
Well, it's no fun for the guys doing it. That was
well, they're
my,
working in the water anyway,
there you go. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Next on the agenda, here's my agenda. We have an RDA at 65 Myrick Street. And according to the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, there will be a hearing on a request for determination of applicability by Teresa Perry for the repair of a septic system within the 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. Location of the project is 65 Myrick Street, map 5, block 1, lot 17. Public hearing will be held on Tuesday, August 13th at 7 p.m.
Mr. Chair, I'm under the impression we have a new plan received in today.
That's correct.
Dated August 12th. I'd like to make a motion to accept the new plan, so before mentioned, for 65 Myrick Street.
Second.
We have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
I'm Bob Forbes from Zenith Consulting Engineers. Yeah, this is on Myrick Street, 65 Myrick Street, and the town line between Lakeville and Taunton actually goes right through the house, and it's right, shown on the plans right where my pen is. This is for a septic system repair. I've outlined the property line in orange, wetlands in blue. This green line is the 50-foot buffer from the wetlands, and the septic system and all the earthwork associated with that is outside the 50-foot buffer. Silt sock will be just outside the 50-foot buffer to keep everything away. Mr. Knox mentioned that we submitted a new plan. We got word from the Board of Health that they wanted this design to be for a 3-bedroom house and not a 4-bedroom house. So the good news for this board is that the system, the original plans we submitted, some of the earthwork did extend into the 50-foot buffer, and now we've just shrunk the system, so we're outside that 50-foot buffer now.
Yes.
My understanding is that you wouldn't be able to put a 4-bedroom system because you don't have the square footage.
It may be the case, but it was something, it was whatever the case may be. It had to, the Board of Health made it be a 3-bedroom.
I think it was
system.
based on square
It
footage.
very well could be.
Yeah.
It very well could be. They mentioned something to the effect that they had some old records that said it was originally designed for a 3-bedroom system, so they didn't want to go beyond that, which was fine.
But the improved system is far superior to what's there. I assume the existing system is in failure,
Correct.
and all the old components are coming out.
Correct. Yeah, it's essentially, the system is essentially in the same area too,
Yep,
so all the
yep.
piping didn't need to be moved.
Okay.
You can see we wedged it in there, and pretty much the only spot we have between the house, the pool, and the existing shed.
Let's hope the pool never leaks and flows over toward the system, right?
That's correct.
It never happens. Is that good, or is that,
That's it. If there's any
Anything
questions, I can answer, yeah.
okay, someone else have a question? I'm just curious, since part of the property is in Taunton, and there's a little bit of confusion as to what the actual address is.
Yeah.
Are you going to make a presentation to Taunton?
No, we're not, because the entire, the wetland and the entire buffer zone, the entire 100-foot buffer zone on this lot is within the town of Lakeville.
Okay.
And no work is being proposed
That's
in
right.
Taunton,
Yeah.
and no earth disturbing activity.
I was just
therefore.
curious if
Yeah.
anyone made an issue of it.
No.
So I must have gone up and down the street 2 times before I got the right,
Yeah,
right
it's an
address.
interesting situation.
But Mark, didn't you say your GPS led you right to it? Did you go to,
I did not know.
so I heard somebody mention that the GPS put them right to it.
No, I just had it on the assessors. I
Oh,
looked it up on the assessors
Assessors,
map.
and that's what it shows?
Yeah. But that address came right up with this.
Because we know that there are lying weasels that live in GPS systems.
yeah. Hard to believe. So, other questions?
Always in favor of septic upgrades.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
No, it's been moved further from the wetlands, so that's better
Even better.
for the board.
Better and better, yep.
And I noticed on this septic upgrade, it's in the form of an RDA, based on what you saw out there and field conditions and with the plan we have, would you recommend a negative determination.
A negative, right.
With any reservations at all?
No. No whatsoever.
Okay.
Fairly flat ground. I'm good with the silt fence location proposed.
Actually, I don't, well, it's along the 50-foot.
It's right, it's hard to see because it's right along, the green
Yeah,
is the
it's almost-
50-foot, the yellow's the
50 foot.
silt
Mirrors
side,
that.
yeah.
We're good.
I make a motion to close the hearing and make a negative determination for the septic upgrade at 65 Margaret Street.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You're good.
Thank you very much.
I know what you mean.
Thank you. All right, next, we have certificate of compliance for 303 Kenneth Welch Drive.
And that, I'm going to recuse myself from the hearing.
Okay? The applicant is a fellow by the name of Mark Knox, just in case. I've been out to the site, I reviewed the original order of conditions, found everything to be complete and in good shape. Mark gave me a tour of the place, everything looked good. So I recommend that we issue the certificate. I've got the original order of conditions here and the site plan if anybody wants to take a look at it for any reason. We're all good.
I make a motion that we issue the certificate of compliance for SC 192 dash, what's the number?
755.
755.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I think at our next hearing, we ought to just deny it, just for the sake of having something different. See if anybody picks up on it.
Whatever.
Yeah, no matter what. we'll
Roll the dice, see who it is.
deny it.
Can I assume that the advertising for the 8 Edgewater Drive has been accepted now?
No, you cannot.
Ooh.
Actually, I skipped over that. I should have made mention of it. You see, there's an RDA for 8 Edgewater. For some reason, the notice didn't get published in time, and so it's gonna be postponed until our next meeting, which is the 27th.
Okay.
And
But-
assuming everything is put together by
Okay.
then. Everything else was ready.
Yep.
It was just the notice. So, and I haven't spoken to the owner or the applicant, so I'm not sure just what happened. But we actually prepared the notice, gave it to them and said, you know, you have to take it to the newspaper. And so we'll see.
So do we need a motion to continue, or is it a?
No, it's not,
you
it was never
opened it, so-
open, so we don't have to continue it. It's just canceled. All right, Jeff, are you here for LeBaron, or?
Yeah, I'm here for the guys.
I don't know what we're actually asking for, but basically, LeBaron, we're in the phase 2 for the septic, putting the new septic system to take care of all the new buildings. And in the process of doing that, where the tanks were above the water table, the big ones, but the pump chamber, the bottom of them was down 4 feet into the water table. There's no, they'll never leak because they're one solid unit. They weigh, I think, 26 ton apiece. But in order to get it in and get it in properly, what we had to do is to dewater it, so to get it down, to build it out. And so what we did is, are doing right now is, we taken dewatering, instead of pumping it on the ground or into the wetlands or anything, what we did is we pumped it into the the retention basin behind, or detention basin behind the 54-unit apartment complex. And
Going into the forebay, right?
yeah, we went in the 4-bay, and then it goes into the basin, and then it builds up and is spilling down a spillway down into the wetlands. None of the work is within 100 feet of anything, other than we're dewatering it and discharging the water, and the water's getting there. The water is
But it's
perfect.
going through a working system
Yes,
that's
it
doing
is.
what it needs to do.
It is, and it's crystal clear, and it's cold. It's nice water. Well, Bob and Joe were out there
Yeah,
with me.
we took a trip to the water park, yeah.
The water park. But yes, but technically, because the water is getting to the wetlands, we have,
Did somebody call?
I think that was
Yeah.
what's precipitated it, that someone called and thought that the pumping, for whatever reason, was not approved and was
Yeah.
going into the wetlands. And
Yeah.
I guess there was some concern about mosquitoes too, is
Yeah.
that correct?
yeah. But if everything plan goes right, we're going to install the tank on Friday and Monday, I think, right? We're going to do Friday and Monday?
Monday, Tuesday at the latest.
At Tuesday.
We'll be done completely.
Then we're going to probably leave we pull the pumps, but we're going to leave the pipes in case we ever have to repair it. We never have to do this
Oh, that
again.
pipe under the road that you're running those
Yeah,
blue
well, that's
lines
always
through?
been there.
Yeah.
That'll be there forever. Everything else is,
Are you presently still pumping?
Yes.
yes,
Still? Wow.
we've got to keep, once you get it depressed, we got to,
Yeah, it's
You
5
gotta
bucks.
maintain it.
we have to maintain it till we get the crane out there. We'll start digging Friday morning.
Friday morning, we have the crane and everybody Friday, Monday, Tuesday. Everything's gonna be done.
Yeah, but we got it under, it's depressed about 4 or 5 feet now. But I know when we shut the pumps off, it's going to come right back up.
Have you done any additional borings besides the additional well, ahead of where you're going to be excavating to see what the elevation of the water table is there?
Well, the reason I know what the water table is, the pond way over to the, behind my new house, that pond is elevation basically 64.
Right.
If you go to the wetland, the elevation is 64. Top of the surface is 76, and God bless them, they dug down 12 feet and they hit the water table at 64. So I know where the water's coming from, and I know what it's going to be.
Good.
So, but
That's what we wanted to hear.
Yeah, so we should be done, we're done Tuesday, hopefully Tuesday, if everything goes right, we'll be done Tuesday, shut it off, and that'll be the end of it.
If everything goes right. How often does that ever work, right?
That's what I said. It's gotta go right, because the crane costs a lot of money, so hopefully it goes well. But
All right.
that's what we're doing.
And we got your letter, thank you.
Yep.
For delivering that.
So it's just clean.
It's just clean water.
Clean water, nice,
Yeah, the water
cold,
coming
clear
out
water.
of the discharge line is crystal clear, as you could see.
Yep.
And as an observation of the wetland itself, there's very little disturbance. The water entering the pond is,
What's the design spillway?
it's not turbulent at all.
No, it's not. It's a
not
design spillway.
bringing up a lot of muck and organisms,
So
so
it's doing what it's supposed to do.
It's doing what it's supposed to.
And even in the forebay, I mean, there's no discernible silt or sedimentation in there, it's just working like it's supposed to do, yeah.
Alright, so, anyone else have a question, comment?
The only,
Motion
I mean,
to make, or?
no motion
No,
required.
There's nothing to,
It's an
but it's just,
update. I appreciate, we all appreciate the update. The only thing I would ask is just, you know, it sounds like you're gonna be doing a lot of pumping over the next several days.
yeah.
Just monitor the spillway to make sure it doesn't require any repairs, or if it does
Right.
degrade, that you guys take
We-
care of it.
I go there 3 times a day.
Yeah, well, you guys have a lot
You
of
can
presence
tell.
there, I know.
I just came from there myself.
That path is very well worn, there's a lot of traffic on that path down to the
And
end.
I think we agreed, when you were done, you were gonna give me a call so I could come out
Yes.
and take a look, so.
Yeah, once we're done, we're gonna take everything out and everything will get drained out and should be all set.
Okay,
All right, good, thank you for coming in.
all right, appreciate it, thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure, you're welcome. You've been patiently waiting.
Yes, I'm not on your agenda.
What can I do for, what can we do for you?
Well, I have 2 dying, dangerous beech trees within 100 feet of Assawamsett Pond.
And you want to make them go away.
Well, I don't, really. I've
Oh.
tried to save them for 35 years.
What's
That's a
the
good
address
effort.
that they're at?
Pardon?
What's the address?
15 Pine Bluff. My name is Cheryl Blanchard.
Okay.
And one of them goes right through my deck.
Ooh, I had one of those once.
Yeah. And I don't know if you want somebody to come look at it, or I have pictures.
I guess we'd love to see the pictures. And
Well, what is it you want to do?
I'd like to, not stump it, just cut it below.
You want to cut
I don't
both
want to
of them?
stump it, I don't want to cut it, but I have to cut it because it's dangerous. I have people, you know, I say, don't sit under that
Thank you.
tree.
We're talking a tree service coming in?
Yeah.
To the-
I haven't chosen it yet, I'm getting the bids. And that's one of the 2 trees. That picture is one of the 2.
Makes mighty nice firewood, by the way.
I don't have a fireplace.
Oh,
And the second tree, also within 100 feet of the water, is a beech tree. And they start to drop huge limbs,
Yeah.
you know, once they get rotten in the
yep,
middle.
yep.
And that's, again, within 100 feet.
So no, even, not even good for firewood, right?
Well, if it's beech.
Yeah.
But if you want to carry it up the hill.
Yeah, right. You got quite a slope there, too.
Yeah.
And no stumping, Cheryl, right?
No stumping, no.
What about debris? Is there a tree company that's gonna take it down?
The one that's on my deck is going to be taken away. The other one I have, it's closer to the water, so there's a lot of, 2 years ago, we had a huge amount of erosion. Even though I've got riprap, which we will talk about. Or maybe I need a special meeting for that. It's the trees I'm most concerned about right now. Because all summer I've had to tell people, don't sit under that tree. That close-up is where the fork in the tree is, and,
Now, the second tree that's
This-
not going through the deck,
right,
are
that's
they
this one.
planning on getting the pieces out and not just
Well-
falling it down into the,
Oh, no, it's not going in the water. I'm gonna put them up the hill as far as they can possibly put them up the hill and cut them as small as possible. There's really no way to carry these things up the hill. That tree will,
But I imagine the one through the deck, they're gonna
they're
slim
gonna,
that, take
they're
it in
gonna have to
sections.
clime that tree. That's gonna have to be,
But
and they'll take it in
the guy-
sections and
Guy
take
with
it
the
up.
boom will send a hook up.
No,
to the
there's no
strap.
room to get a boom there. They're gonna have to physically climb the tree, and
climbing
rope it,
rotted trees is no
rope it
fun.
down, rope it down, and
I had to have a tree though.
there's no
Big,
room for
big
the
tree.
boom on either one of these trees.
How tall are the trees roughly? Yeah, again.
It's, my house is 3 stories, so it's about that high, maybe a little higher.
Yeah, beeches don't grow low.
Yeah.
what is the opinion of the commission? I certainly don't think we need an RDA, but do you want us to take a look at it, or are you satisfied with the picture?
This is the second picture of the second tree.
Oh, I didn't think we saw
The
that one.
branches have fallen off over the years, and I've had to take them away.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
There's no room to bring a crane in and,
No,
But
no,
they don't even need a crane.
no, I have guys that will climb with ropes, and
It's actually, it's not.
they lower the,
I hired a guy once, a guy right on Freetown Street, and they sent a truck right down with a little finger boom that went, extended straight up from where they got close, and they'd cut an 8-foot section and lower that whole section for 3 or 4 guys to come in and limb the whole thing, throw it in the chip truck.
well, I'm getting another
and a single
bid, so
log.
what company
But,
was, oh, you can't tell me what company. but
Yeah, I
getting
really
another
shouldn't recommend, I just
company.
remember they were on Freetown Street.
No, right,
And they took 8-foot sections, one guy climbed the tree, he hooked a strap on, a hook picked up a little weight off it, he cut through, you saw the whole, a section of tree like this, just go
well, since,
and bounce.
and people
Just
have,
enough, and then he took his
people
little
have recently
back-
paved Paradise, so I'm not sure they want a boom truck on their recently paved Paradise Road.
Well, they'd put protection, but ask, it's a great way to do it, but my recommendation, I'd like to just make sure you have a chip truck to have all the debris removed, if they're gonna chip up the little branches and stuff, so that there's not a lot of debris that's gonna go wash into the wetlands.
Right, I had a huge tree cut that was just over 100 feet last year, and they did it with a boom, and they did it with the chipper and everything, and it was
Yep.
very neat.
Same company?
I haven't looked up the name of that company
Oh.
yet.
you said you don't have a fireplace, I see a chimney.
No,
What's that?
that's a cottage, and it's got a little gas
Oh,
thing in
okay.
there. Yeah, we don't use it as a fireplace.
Well, I would say we don't really need anything, I mean, obviously, they have to work very carefully, they don't wanna be dropping stuff on the house.
No, I don't want it dropped on my deck or anything, so
Right.
they're gonna be very careful not to damage anything. Like I say, I've tried to keep these trees for 35 years since I've been there, and it's just not working.
No, I'm satisfied, so if you want to.
Okay. No, the
Yeah,
other,
again, just as long as you're leaving the stumps in the ground, cover
Yeah,
as
the no
much as you can,
stumping. The stumps
and
are in the
try to-
ground.
If the debris gets chipped on site, try to get it into a chip truck to get taken away.
okay.
And you had something else?
Yeah, the other thing I have is about my riprap, which,
Is that right on the shoreline?
yes, Joe may know about. It was on the agenda last year.
I remember driving my four-wheel
found my
drive
letter.
truck.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
here it
found my
is.
letter.
Here, look at this,
From
look at this.
1999.
1999,
Wow.
reconstruct.
And I don't know if you caught,
Do you have a permit?
I don't know who
Check this
they,
blast from the past stuff.
no, it's very natural. I don't have any of that. None of that. I'm low
The reason
maintenance.
I ask is if you have a dock permit, a lot of times it
No,
includes the waterfront, and you have the right to maintain it.
Right to maintain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have a right to maintain if you don't have a dock?
Not without coming here and,
Oh, well.
doing
They may have
that.
expired.
And I wouldn't do anything unless the water was extremely low, which it's not yet.
Yeah.
But after I did that repair that year, it got worse than, almost 35 years I've been there, it got worse than ever because high storms.
Yeah, I think the term low water is something we're not gonna be
Is she
seeing
trying
much
to hold
of.
you to this?
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah, you got it in writing.
I think the order of conditions.
I don't want to
the
say,
time
I
has
was just
gone.
not making up stories
Just make
that
a copy
day.
of it, put a new date on it. We already have a signature.
So my question is, what do I need to do about the riprap? I've also got this original plot plan.
I would say you probably want to go take a look.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, okay, and that's fine.
Yeah, they'll look, make a determination
Okay.
whether it's what kind of a hearing, if any.
And I'm not looking to do anything right now on that because the water's not low enough.
right.
I might have to wait another 30 years for that to happen again.
So maybe later this week, either Wednesday or Friday, we'll give you a call, and
Okay. Should I give somebody my name and phone?
that'll help.
In fact, I would say, hang on to these, and
Okay.
on one of the
All
sheets,
right?
Okay.
Write it on that.
And the other tree, where's the other tree
Okay,
picture?
here's your,
They're, both trees are stacked here.
Oh, okay.
Both sets are here.
so,
save that letter, it's a historical
Yes.
document.
All right, it's Cheryl Blanchard, Cheryl. Blanchard.
My college.
15 Pine Bluff. 508 947 0788. I'm available most afternoons.
Okay.
Back any afternoon, just give me a call.
All right, good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know if you had a new agenda, so,
No, we left
Okay.
room.
thank you.
You're welcome. Finally, just kind of an update on Woods Edge. You're probably all familiar with that subdivision. It's off Ebony Farm behind the new dollar store, whatever. And it's that whole series of very short streets, so-and-so way and whatnot. Well, the last one is Mary's Way, I think it's called. And they called. And most of you weren't on the commission back then. But there's a fence in the rear of 4 of the buildings. It's
Their
a-
fence, or does it belong to Woods Edge? The fence?
Yeah, I
Yes.
believe it is, it runs the whole length.
Because that
It's
backs up to Blueberry Estates, doesn't it? Or somewhere?
Oh.
It's close.
close.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the rear of the property is almost right in the wetland.
Yeah.
And that's why, we voted back then to require them to put some kind of barrier, not to restrict people from going through it. It's not like chain fence or anything.
It's just a-
a post and rail.
Post and rail.
But as a kind of a warning, this is wetland, and it's, well, the fence is a little old now, and it's starting to rot.
Well, you know, it was funny, I took a look at it,
Yeah.
and it doesn't seem that bad. I mean, I know it's been there for however many years.
Which section did you look at?
Well, all of it, I didn't see
Okay.
anything that was, I mean, obviously it's an aging fence, but,
Yeah, well, the one in the middle, I went like this, and it...
okay. I didn't actually,
damaged it.
I didn't
yeah,
actually
yeah.
try to tear the fence down, okay.
Yeah. Well, they called, and
Yeah.
their question was, do we have to replace it, and can we replace it? They're not adverse to having it, they're not adverse to replacing it. They just want to know if it's okay to, or if they have to.
Or was it in perpetuity?
Yes, it was specified that it was in
They
perpetuity.
had to replace it.
Well, we can always override a previous commission.
All right, then they don't have to.
But the funny thing is, like I said, the back of the house is right up against the wetland, so that was the reasoning for doing it. And the commission was split at the time. Half didn't want anything to do with it, some wanted, concrete barriers.
Is this a 55 and over community?
Yes.
So I would say that, in my opinion, it would be fair to say, let them decide how they maintain it. If the barrier were to be removed, I don't think it's something that the 55 and over community is going to have kids riding dirt bikes into the wetlands. You know,
The concern more is
lawn maintenance going deeper than.
lawn maintenance, and, the
I think the-
temptation always is to empty the bags
Well, there is
into the
some
swamp.
evidence of that.
Yes, there is.
It's not blatant, it's not really
Right,
bad, but you
right.
can see where they've mowed, for
Yeah.
example. And that brings up a curious point. If you notice, it says here, 10-foot no-touch fence, and that's how it reads on the order of conditions. Well, if there's a 10-foot wide strip of no-touch, what does that say about the wetland? It's okay?
Yeah.
The implication is that it's only in that 10-foot zone, when in fact, we didn't even have the jurisdiction or the authorization to require 10-foot no-touch. That was back when
That's
we
right, yeah.
were doing the 25 and everything else. So,
I mean, is there evidence that people are abusing it?
not abusing it, mowing, yes, and in some places, putting some grass clippings, but not as a detriment, like this, not choking out the wetlands or anything. It's extremely healthy.
And is it an area that if the fence were removed, they could expand very easily by just cutting grass?
It slopes down like this into the wetlands.
I
so
think
not very easily.
without the physical barrier in the past, there tends to
It
be
will encroach.
this incremental
Yeah.
stuff going on.
But
Stuff
if
keeps,
there's a pretty drastic change in elevation.
oh yeah, because that area, I guess, was
So-
filled somewhat.
Well, based on the simple fact that it's truly not a regulation, do we want to give them the permission to let them make the decision if they want to maintain or remove the fence.
That's my recommendation.
Because I don't think we have to force them to
No.
replace
If
it.
they want to, fine, go ahead. You don't
And I
need
don't
anything
have a
else.
problem if they put it up, because it is a good barrier, but again, it's not
No.
law of the land.
And
either.
it does make that whole street look nice, that nice post and rail fence there.
The onus then is on us to just monitor it, and if over time it is abused, then we can always come in and say, hey, you have to stop.
And I think if you were to speak to whoever contacted you originally, you know, I mean, they're aware of what the original purpose of that fence was?
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah, very much
And they
so.
seem to be amenable to having something there just as an indicator.
As a matter of fact, they said, we like it.
Yeah,
So
it looks
yeah,
nice.
And it's one of those, the holes are already dug. If they have somebody come in, they're just gonna redig.
I was
by
thinking
hand.
about that myself. If the poles aren't too rotted, you just
Yeah,
up,
yeah, and-
plug the new ones
Right,
in.
it's
That's
a minimally
fast,
invasive
yeah.
thing that you could just give them the
Yep.
opportunity to maintain and repair.
Real
and
fast
it
fence
stays.
job.
And it's not
Yep.
a,
And it looks good, it's no question.
Yep.
Or not.
I guess the only question, yeah, or not, but the only stipulation is, I would hate to see them think that we said green light, and then they say, okay, they said 6-foot white stockade fence from Home Depot, cemented posts, and get a guy with, doing a
Yeah.
change like
Yeah,
that.
I don't think they'd want to do that.
I'm not gonna leave it as verbal, I'll send them a letter
Yeah.
that specifies what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Give them the choice and eliminate some things, no chain link,
I'd just say,
Cetera.
in the original configuration.
right, I'll reference the
If
original
you're
order
gonna,
of
if you're
conditions.
gonna replace it, if you're gonna repair, it's gotta be the same.
Okay, fair
People
enough.
who put in these 6-foot white vinyl fences, solid, have found out to their detriment what great breeze blockers they
Oh,
are.
yeah.
And catchers,
Oh,
breeze catcher, to just take the fence
They are
over.
just popping up everywhere, and
don't put one in a breezy area.
Uh,
Why is my fence leaning to the right?
well, it's politics.
So do you need an official motion
What's the,
on?
no,
No.
I don't, we don't have to.
Our chairman in all his wisdom will contact them, written.
All right, and I think
Did we have minutes? I don't remember.
Nope, we didn't have minutes. I
No, we
talked to
didn't have
Laurie
minutes.
today. She's got a,
we didn't have any birth announcements, or,
I think Bill has an announcement.
I do have an announcement.
Oh, yes, go.
A little while ago, I received admission into a graduate program at the University of California, Davis.
Somebody else is leaving.
so you're not,
And I just recently
you're not
accepted-
commuting, right?
I'm not commuting,
why not?
because I think it was an hour and 20, or one day, 20-hour drive, I think it was straight
Is
through.
that right?
Yeah. So
I
I
suppose if you have to.
guess I'm asking for your approval to resign my position on the commission and open it up for someone else.
All right, well, we appreciate your time here.
Yeah, I learned a
And
lot.
certainly wish you lots of luck and success. What's the program?
Water resource engineering.
What do they know about there?
California's running out of water.
Yeah.
They need all the help they
That's why
can
they need the
get.
resources.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate everything I've learned over the past couple months.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So
Sounds good.
my recommendation would be that, I don't know if Bill could put that letter in email form, but we've had this problem with a couple of the
Yes.
people. It needs to be sent to the selectman's
Yeah,
office.
not email, actually a hard
I
copy.
had
letter.
actually typed up a
Beautiful.
brief summary, yeah, and I
So that,
subjected it to the
would
selectmen and
would
selectmen.
you submit that, or you want him to submit that
He
to?
should.
So you want to bring that to the town office and
Okay.
give it to,
Town clerk.
Either the selectman's secretary or the town clerk, either one.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
and then it's official. Because we're an appointed board, we technically don't have the powers
Yeah.
to remove you from the board. It has to go back through the appointing authority.
Okay.
So now that we got rid of him, let's,
And do what you can. And this is what, water resources, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Do what you can to convince them to quit doing what I predicted they would do 18 months ago. They indeed are rebuilding paradise
oh, yeah.
in the updraft canyons, and they're building wooden houses, and they're landscaping trees around them. What could go wrong there?
Well, that's
I
why
can't-
they need the water, guys.
I can't believe they're doing it over again.
They're thinking ahead, right, John?
So, did we do a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.